What's up, everyone? Welcome to this edition of the GASOCast. I'm your host, Michael Timmins, here with Lyndon Cook at our final stop 5 of the GASO Fall Tour here in Mansfield. This is one of my favorites just because we get close to the season. So it's not a finished product, but there's some good basketball going on out here.
Yeah, the first month of this is more of identifying new faces, dudes who might have changed schools kind of deal, seeing the fit with that. Now you're seeing the identity of teams.
Yep.
And that's a big part of what we're doing today because, those rankings we put out the top 10 just last Friday on the newsletter.
Team rankings, yep.
For team rankings, and those top 25s we're in the lab trying to get those hashed out, and this weekend's going to give us a great idea for who slots in where as we look to, the season starts in, just a week and a half.
I think one of the funniest things is that first event, a lot of the coaches are really loud from the sidelines because it's new. A lot of kids don't know what's going on. There's been less coaching from the sidelines today, and you can tell. I mean, that's a credit to the work that they're putting in. It's some better basketball.
Yeah.
But you and I have been here since 7 a.m. to open this place up. We had 8 a.m. tips.
Oh, yeah.
And I tweeted we needed somebody to wake the gym up.
For sure.
And you go over to Frisco Memorial's game and Caden Deferball.
Yeah. Woke everybody up with that dunk. And then it wasn't just that one play because he got to it. That kind of set the tone for that team with 7 Spurlock. Those guys were really impressive win over Parrish. They pulled off right at the 8 a.m. game.
Good game. I know you liked a couple dudes. They just happen to be brothers. They just happen to be twins. Talk about
right. The Allmotor twins. We talk about them a lot because they get better every single time I see them. They add a little bit more skill, add a little bit more polish to their offensive game. Making shots, getting into that 15-foot area, a little turnaround jumper. I saw each of them hit. It's just one of those things where they have a very fun group. Paul Dalcour was another guy on Paris that I saw kind of stand out to me for the first time. They've got some go to them. I like that group in that TAPS class.
I really liked what I saw from Collegeville Heritage, specifically Tristan Strengths.
Yes.
You see a kid do something once, you're like, oh, okay, but then when you see him do something twice, and that was create and get his over and over again, so it was no fluke.
Yeah.
He's able to get his off the bounce, and that just gives Collegeville Heritage another presence. When you have Cash Gardner that's liable to hit 10 threes in the game, and then you have Tim Finau in the paint, somebody like Tristan Strick now gives you a way to beat teams in just a plethora of options.
His stop-start was amazing today. He could just, he faked that little spin and then hit it the other direction and would just blow by guys. I was really impressed with him attacking. Another guy for me in that early window, Arlington Seguin's Quentin Ray, about 6'4", can shoot it, had about 24 each game. Just one of those guys. He's bouncy. He's kind of the guy, the focal point of that offensive attack where his teammates kind of look to him to set the tone. And when he comes out in rhythm, making shots, it makes that team really fun to watch.
Absolutely. And I'm going to show, I've never done this before, and I'm going to see if it works.
Oh, boy.
But Keontae Graybear, early on.
Get it close up.
Yeah.
Get it close up.
Look, y'all. Let's see if this comes through. It probably won't even zoom. If not, I'll put it on there. Body of the day very quickly. Keontae Graybear and that Frisco Emerson squad was one of the teams I know our staff as a whole were like, let's figure out what they're about.
Sure.
And they showed up and showed out. And which is going to be a YouTube game versus Dallas Kimball.
Yeah.
Fun game. Graybear dunks on Jalen Dean Vines.
Do I need to pull up the Dean Vines?
The Dean Vines run might as well, because my boy Dean Vines tried to block everything, and he's blocking plenty. Got caught slipping, but that's what big time players do if they want to be in the moment.
Yeah, man.
And then let me see if I can show this one. Caught the lob right afterwards. Just all out action.
That fun is the only word to describe it. He's springy. He's electric in transition. He's adding to his game on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a really, really good player at the heart of his game.
Absolutely. Another name for me, real quick, Lawyer Jones. I know Mass watched him.
Crazy.
Went crazy.
Crazy.
just one of those, when you're looking for a floor general right there and somebody you can trust and rely on, Laurie Jones is always going to deliver.
Yes. Another guy who really stood out to me coming out of Tyler, Jacorian O's. We've seen him several times. We saw him at TABC. Dominance. I mean, he will move anybody off the block. It almost looks like he should be out on the football field in between the tackles, driving somebody back, because he's just a very powerful basketball player, and his feel around the rim, it's not that he's just going to try to pound you into submission on the butt. Yeah. He's going to pound, dribble, and then he's looking over his shoulder and he's going to hit a cutter on the opposite side for a layup. Was very, very impressed with what I saw from him today.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to that Cedar Hill team. A lot of times when these rosters get sent in, it's we have 6'3" guys and above.
Yeah.
And I saw that, but it's the truth. They're big, athletic, and like they were making plays all over the court, and one of those early morning teams that really impressed me.
Yeah. We got to talk about. I'm about to hit send on a tweet.
All right.
Luke Lukowski. I mean,
yeah,
that kid's about to jump. 25 spots in the rankings. I mean, if what we are talking about and being consistent with, we saw him at SBC. We were courtside at SBC last year, and he was great. He's so much better now than he was then. He was great back then. I mean, he's added so many levels to his game.
He has that it factor also, that nastiness, that toughness. Like, he's willing to go to war, do whatever it needs. IQ, and I shout out Andrew and Tate, his big brothers, for, he's got to learn under some really big-time hoopers. But, I mean, he's taking his game to the next level. And you're right. At least for you and I's ranking.
Yeah,
he's
exactly. On our personal.
And on our personal rankings, they're going to – it's going to be hard for him not to sail up that. We wanted to go see 2027 Dawson Petit, who, I mean, you can't teach that size right now. And he knows what he's doing down there. Young, so I like to see the flaws and the mistakes he's making, but that just tells me he's not done yet, getting better. Yeah. So the sky's the limit for him, for sure.
Yeah. Two more guys that really stood out to me. First off, Sawyer Dotson at Birdville. This is the best I've seen him play. Manufacturing points by making just the extremely high IQ cuts off the ball, relocating to get his shot off. I think he went for like 11 straight points at one point in the second half of their game that I was watching of them against Westlake. Was really impressed with it's the little things that he's doing. He's starting to really figure it out. He's only a sophomore, and it was really good. And then the last guy who, if I'm giving a GASO Fall Tour MVP award to anybody, and this is highly, highly unofficial, it's just me talking. Steven Ramirez of Keller, dude. He is a killer.
Yeah, like D1s need to be all over him.
Yes.
2025, 6'5". I mean, I saw him go up and get a block with two hands, like no nonsense. That Keller team is like, when you look at how they execute and run stuff, and then you see my boy Brooks Barr over there coaching right now. Once they like have their full complement of pieces, I mean, not only are they must watch, they have aspirations going real deep.
And they have the horses to do it this year. I tell you that.
For me, Jordan Blair, Keller Central, a guy that we saw at our
he popped off at the last live period.
Yeah, at our last gas, so I was excited to see him. Some other names here. Let me give a shout out to Lyndon and I both, by the way, were like, hey, we're going to hop on this and just give our pure, genuine thoughts as the day goes on, so that we're not reading from a list.
Right.
So whatever you hear coming out of our mouth is like real organic right now. I'm just looking at scores.
Another one that just popped in my head, Abram Hicks, Burleson Centennial. Saw him go for like 25 this morning. I mean, he was great in making shots, making the right reads on decisions. They got some pieces in Burleson Centennial. Keep an eye on them this year.
Yeah, so for me, Camden McGilvery, Fort Worth Eastern Hills.
Yep.
The first thing that stands out is that his hands are scratching his kneecaps. That length. He's always going to get one of those pickpocket steals that lead to transition dunks. We posted one on my Twitter account. Just an absolute dude. No Alex Barther here this weekend, and that gives a kid like Camden the chance to be that alpha and like run the show. Sure. And he had a really good showing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like what we're talking about. It's not just that there are dudes all over the place, because there are. It's that these are dudes that are playing in a polished system, and you're seeing, okay, this is what, if we go in a Tuesday night in December to go check on one of these guys, it gives us an idea of what we can expect from them, you know? And I think that's a great baseline as an evaluator to have going into this season.
Absolutely. Lancaster, South Carolina Prairie just finished.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because
Cam Paul continues to
yes.
like, he's one of those guys that's in our top 20 ranking that's like, all right, still has a bump up.
Yeah.
Like, he came right away and was one of those killers on the court. And when you're looking for a game that we were waiting to see, I'm ready to see who wanted action in that game, and Cam Paul stepped up right away.
Cam Paul and Adarius Morton, both of them, dogs,
Yeah.
man. They get after you 94 feet.
Adarius has just played so many big-time basketball games. It feels like he's been in high school for forever. But I mean, for South Carolina Prairie to be like, to accomplish all their goals, I think Borden's going to need to be the guy that keeps everything together with a couple of those 2025s, you know, still trying to figure it out. Yeah. Desmion Jones, talk about him with Lancaster.
Yeah. The just, you know, straight line quickness that he has. He is a paint touch machine. He gets wherever he wants to on the court. He can knock down shots from the outside, but his best attribute is just getting that help defender to step over and just dishing to his bigs for, you know, points after points that he can just create with that quickness off the dribble.
And with him and DeAntrell Barrett, you know, the one thing I've always loved about DeAntrell, no matter where I see him at, he's always willing to pick up 94 feet, physical frame, toughness, and that's one of the main reasons why, like, that Lancaster identity with those two guards right now. No Dylan Batee this weekend.
Right.
You know, Dylan, I'm putting you on graphics. You know, just let us know that you're not going to be here so we can show love to somebody else. But no, like, that's the one thing that a lot of these coaches would probably love to see, is when some of their top players aren't out here.
Who steps up?
Yeah. Who steps up, and then you can leave like feeling good, like, okay, we didn't have them and we still look like this. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that Lancaster team, Masters, like, there might be 11 deep this year.
Right.
All right, a couple just teams I want to shout out. Richardson, they're always going to be in the mix. It just feels like, you know, these kids that are seniors now.
That's a veteran group.
That's a veteran group, and they learn from two of the best with Kason Wallace and Rylan Griffin. Like, They just built a culture. And that's what you love about some of your star players that leave a program. They leave and help build a culture.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best, like, that's one of the best things I can say about some of these kids that leave is, how do you impact your school going? Because obviously there's not a Kason and Rylan out there.
Sure.
But those kids know how to work, compete, and they're going to be in the mix when it's all said and done. Westlake coming up here. Austin Westlake, we talk about that Region 4, and it's always going to be a topic on the tip of our tongue. Westlake's just going to be around when it matters, man.
And they are going to just grind you into the dust because they defend. Like, and it's not like they're all guards. They've got, like, their average height out there is like 6'6" at the time, and they're out there defending on the perimeter, man.
Yeah. Two teams with a lot of length that I like today. Red Oak has some just
always just going to be such a buzzsaw defensively.
And then Arlington Martin, two of their studs aren't playing, but Arlington Martin, one of those teams that we talked about, they just know what their identity is. They just fly around.
I mean, they graduated 10 guys last year, and they look like they're not dropped off. They still have dudes there ready to take that next step.
Like I said, guys, we're just literally we've watched a lot of basketball today. We're running on fumes, but this might be the best time for us to talk because once we get off this, who knows how we're going to be feeling. Argyle, you know, Cash Polk walks through the door, and he's legit 6'9", and I know I've talked to a lot of college coaches, and that's the first thing. They're like, okay, what are you, about 6'7"? No, the kid's legit 6'9".
Filling out, broad.
Bringing the ball up the court with pressure, and you don't feel like it's going to get taken from him. Finishing in traffic. You pair him up with Jason Dempster. Argyle, with how they're coached, are going to win a lot of games this year.
And a sleeper who, you know, is going into the TBR about 15 minutes ago is Gerald Burris.
Yeah.
A little off guard with some really nice stop-start and was making shots on the move in this game.
Did we talk about David Coe of Grapevine earlier?
We need to. That would be a glaring omission on our part because he might be the funnest point guard in the gym today because he flying all over the court. He can pass from any angle. He's going between the legs, behind the back, all that stuff, and he's hitting dudes in scoring positions.
That's the biggest thing. Like, we know he can make all the flashy passes, but his teammates know that he'll make the unselfish pass too, and so they're ready at all times. So a lot of the guys on that Grapevine team know that they're going to get high-quality looks, and that means that they know they got to be ready to knock him down for Grapevine to be good.
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking right now as we're Colleen Shoemaker, 2026 DeAnthony Moore. Saw him at our Waco stop. The frame stands out right away. Was willing to get inside as a younger guard, willing to get inside, mix it up on offensive, defensive rebounds. One guy that I'm just falling in love with out here.
Right.
Who else you looking at?
Who else we got? I was impressed today with Mansfield, Lake Ridge, Easy Nwakama. Close enough. Still just that dominant interior presence.
Amir McMillan's, that's my guy.
And that dude sets the table, man.
Yeah. When he gets downhill, he can stop on a dime. The midi is so pretty, just always fluid. And he's one of those guys where he got the opportunity to play in the EYBL this year, and you see that confidence rise because he was able to have some big games with that pro skills team. Now he comes back, and he's just one of those guys that knows how to get a bucket for the team.
Yeah.
Lake Ridge is going to be good.
Lake Ridge is going to be very solid. Dennison DJ Smith was good in flashes. 6'9", extremely long, can stretch the floor, can dunk and finish over the top. Like what I saw, he was really good with Crab over the summer, but it's good to see him being, that same type of dominant player with his high school unit as well.
Let me see here. Rockwall Heath.
So earlier when we're talking about, a duo or a group of players that leave a culture in a place, they've got some young cats that have a chance to leave a culture at Rockwall Heath if they stay together through high school with those 227s.
Yeah, Ryan Hampton, RJ Hampton's younger brother, Paxton Ivy, two 2027s that play with two different games.
Yes.
Ryan can get downhill, elevate. He's already bigger than RJ, and I know RJ hates that. Gets downhill, creates his. Just one of those prospects that when you're looking for your next possible 5-star in the Metroplex, he has the chance to be that. Paxton, one of the best shooters in the gym out of 2027. The mechanics are there. And then the kid I like, Cooper Smith, kind of just that nastiness for them. Brings that edge for them. Rockwall Heath is another team I want to talk about. We could sit here and talk for days. There's still some games going on that we'll cover in a future GASOcast.
Sure.
Who are you looking forward to that are going to come up in the evening and afternoon slates?
The two teams that stand out to me immediately, and luckily they play each other, is Melissa and Halton.
Yep.
We've gotten a smoke signal that Austin Guzman is going to be here tonight, and Kowalatak, what he brings to the table. So that individual battle there, that's got a chance for some fireworks.
Yeah, one of the prospects I'm looking at is Ja'Cory Jones for Braswell.
Yep.
RJ Jones at Kansas State's younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the gym with him at Tyler's and stuff like that. Just super skilled, great pop to his game. He's a prospect I'm looking for this evening. But we could probably talk for hours and hours. We need to get back out here and watch some more basketball, see this afternoon slate, and we'll have another GASOcast after this. But I know Lyndon and I want to get on, give our thoughts. We appreciate y'all watching. We know it was kind of all over the place, but that's as authentic as you're going to get from us. No list, just what we saw in real time. And for that, I'm Timmins Lyndon Cook. That's another GASOcast. We'll talk to you soon.